Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 94 here on season number 2. And today we are getting into stash releases for new bonds. These videos are meant for educational purposes only and not meant to be taken as financial advice, because you are responsible for your assets and to properly protect them. So always, and I mean always, do your own research. As of last week, actually early last week, Stash released 4 new bond ETFs, and it was kind of a bummer, but also I was excited. It was just a whole bunch of mixed emotions because I had originally planned on releasing my top 3 bonds on Stash last week, and I did, but then they added 4 more right after I released the video, like literally that day or the day after, and I was like, oh my gosh, this couldn't have gone any worse. Now there's 4 new bonds on top of the like 3-ish that were already around on Stash, and so now there's like a total of maybe 7. There's, you know, about a handful of bond type ETFs, and that's kind of why I was excited, because there wasn't a whole lot of bond ETFs that were on Stash originally, and so I was really excited to see that they just finally rolled out 4 more. We're just going to take a brief look at each one individually, and eventually what I plan on doing is coming out with a video that gets more specific into each one of these ETFs. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. So this is the 4 ETFs that were added. It was bonds worldwide, big business bonds, inflation defense, and rate hike refuge. Bond worldwide, it's a Vanguard total international bond ETF, basically a international bond. So you're not going to be buying any USA type bonds. It's going to be all other markets. Like it could be like France, or you know, who knows where. Like right here's France, Japan, Euro deposits, Deutschland ROP. And the ticker on that is BNDP, and the dividend ratio is at 2.23. Long term, it looks like it came up to, you know, it's been around 51, and now sits at like 53. So that's not a whole lot of volatility. It jumps between like 51 to about 55. Next, we got big business bonds, which is a Vanguard ETF as well. Vanguard bond ETF. The ticker is that on that is VCIT, and it pays a 3.38% dividend yield. And basically, this is going to be company bonds. So this is going to be like Verizon bonds, AT&T bonds, and every other kind of company bond that they feel is safe that's going to get you a decent return. And over the lifetime, it's jumped from about 74 to about 84 with some volatility all the way up to 91. So that's a little bit more volatility. It's like almost a $20 volatility range. It's bonds, it's corporate bonds, so it's going to be a little bit more risky than, for instance, government bonds. Inflation defense, this is going to try to protect your account versus inflation. So typically as interest rates rise, or as 3% interest rate goes, 3% inflation rate or whatever that we account for, this is going to try its best to account for that as well. The ticker on that is VTIP. It says it pays a dividend yield of 6.6%. Unfortunately, that's not true. It's like, I think it's like a 2%, I want to say. And that's pretty much inflation defense. I think it's going to be mostly like U.S. note inflation index and U.S. bond index inflation. Rate hike refuge, which is a bond ticker, FLOT. It's an iShare floating rate bond ETF. What this one does, I would have no clue without out reading up on it. Those are all the new bonds that have been released on Stash, and I'm really excited to get those added to my portfolio once I get my percentages and everything like that all figured out and squared away, and then I can go back into buying the other ETFs. We'll go ahead and jump into the question of the day, which is, what would be the worst food to be liquefied and drunk through a straw? When I was in high school, we would go to like summer camp and winter camp, and at winter camp we would do this thing called like Truth or Dare or Video Dare, and one time they blended up a Happy Meal, like with the Coke, the hamburger buns, some ketchup, some fries, a little bit of salt and pepper. They blended that up and somebody drank it. I think that would be literally the grossest thing to have to drink liquid form through a straw. Like I always say, if you got any questions regarding Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, as well as general investing advice, business Etsy coaching, post those questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe up here and check out my Stash recap March edition. Check this out video right here. And as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.